Hi, Pat here. I have a H.H. Scott stereo receiver, model 370R. This thing was made between 1978 and 1981 and is rated at 60 watts per channel. And when I plugged this thing and turned it on, the lights kind of flickered. So I unplugged it. I'm going to let it be till I get inside. But the front's in nice shape. A little chip there. Sides are good. Right there should be jumpers. That's really not a pre-out and a main amp in. And it's something else. I really don't understand what Scott did with these. And the other side looks good. So I'm going to take the cover off and take a peek at the inside. I got my own meter across the power switch here. And I try to turn it on. Sometimes I get something. Sometimes I really don't get anything. I turned this thing on once and it did come on. Relay clicked on. I thought everything was working. Next time I turned on, the lights kind of flickered. So I just let it be till I get a look at it. And spin around. Take a look at the inside here. A little lighting here. It's the amp board in there. It's a little dusty. Got the power caps, power supply boards down there. And there's the tuner board. I'm sure that's the phono preamp back there. Another little power supply section back there. And hiding down in there is the tone control and the preamp board. And the first thing I'm going to do is take that switch off. It was a little loose. I'm going to take the front cover off, take the switch off, and see what's wrong with the switch. I got this power switch apart. And we take a look at it. It's just burnt to hell. But on the flip side of the switch, there's another one. So all I'm going to have to do is flip this thing over and then put the wires on this side. Here's the yellow part of the switch. Nice and burnt. And there's the half that was never used. So sometimes you get lucky. Here you can see how much cleaner those contacts are. Get those years of varnish off of there. That's, I always use a little deoxin on them. And it does a great job on it. Here's the switch put back together. And the top contacts unused, so this switch is going to be as good as new. I got the switch back in, and as long as I had this board loose, I replaced that cap. I got my dim bulb hooked up to it right now. Turn the power on, and the bulb goes dim, and the relay clicks. I did clean the controls, and it did help, but watch the power meters here as I turn it on. And wait for the relay to click, and you see the meters jump a little bit. But I'll look into that. I lost the noise in there. It's not as scratchy as it was. And I'm getting that from a lot better now. I had this thing running for a little while. I'll pull the plug. This thing here is, I can touch it. It is warm. Heat sinks. It's really not warm, but I really wasn't pushing it either. So I'm going to start looking into other things in here. And I'm thinking about recapping it. I got this thing recapped. And I just thought I'd test a few of the old caps out. I got my meter hooked up here. And this one here, it's a 220 microfarads. And it's reading at 76. That's definitely bad. And this one I believe is a 2.2. And it's reading good, but it's got a very high ESR. And I found another 2.2. And it's got even a higher ESR. So I didn't go through them all, but it does show you that some of these do go bad. I'm going to do a little cleaning on this board. I just got Windex and a brush. And just scrub it down good. And I got this tube here. It's hooked up to my low wet dry vac. And I'll just suck it all off. Get all the odd smells off the board and make it look nicer. I got the boards cleaned up and they're looking a little better. And I went ahead and replaced these two big filter caps. See, the originals there were 50 volts, 10,000 microfarads. I put in 80 volts, 12,000 microfarads. Going up in size won't hurt any, and they were the same diameter. And I got the face back on, the knobs back on. And now I'm going to check the bias voltage. I'm checking the bias adjustment, as the book calls it. Really, it's the idle current. I don't see no DC offset adjustments on this thing. I got my probes connected to some test points. And right down there is one pod. Right down there is another pod. And they want 40 millivolts. Plus or minus 10. I'm sitting at 39.8 and 40.5. So that's sitting good. Right now I'm adjusting the watt meters. And the book calls for 2.38 volts across the dummy loads there. My dummy loads back there. And there's a couple pods. This one and that one, you adjust them till you get 1 watt in the meter. And I got those adjusted. Now that I got everything hooked up, I'm putting 150 millivolts into each channel at 1000 hertz. And let's turn it up all the way. Let's volume up all the way. It's not clipping. I got 22.3 and 21.5 volts across my AC meters there. 22 volts would be 60 watts. 21.5 volts, probably about 57, 58 watts. So it's right there where it should be. Now 150 millivolts, what the manual says is the input sensitivity. I turn this up to 200 millivolts. And I just want to see if I get this thing to clip. Right there it clips. And you notice now I'm reading about 22, 23 and 24 on the meters there. 23 and 24. So I'm talking about 66 and to 70 watts per channel before it clips. Putting the square wave through right now, and it's looked nice and clean. No overshoot. So let's play with the tones. It's the bass down all the way. The bass up all the way. It's mid-range down all the way. Up all the way. And the treble down all the way. And up all the way. And now the loudness. And the loudness back off. Now I'm running a sweep. I'm going from 20 hertz to 20,000 hertz in 10 seconds. And it's looking clean all the way through. The edge of this cover, this piece here is chipped. And I took a hot air gun and I peeled this off. And I got this off another cabinet, junk one. And I'll glue it on there. Now I'm going to deal with the lights in these things. These things here, they got kind of rusty. By pulling the bulbs out, I broke them all. And over here you can see rust spots above where all the bulbs were. So I'm going to sand them off, put a little paint on them, and put LEDs in. I put a couple LEDs in just to see what it'll look like. I got a blue one in and a white one in. I like the color of the blue one, but the white one just shows the numbers so nicely. And it's got a 9-volt battery with a light on it, so I could put in there, see how they look. I'm putting some LEDs in here. These here, I end up hot gluing them in. These old garments here, they're old and dry and they just shatter. And what I end up doing, I drilled this hole out a little bigger. Got another piece of rubber to fit in there. And I hot glued them in there and added a little reflective tape on the inside. I put together a little circuit for the LED lights. I got a little rectifier, rectifying the AC. I got a 5-volt regulator and some 100 ohm resistors. And take it down, let's take a look at it. And it lights up quite nicely. I got things back together now. The LED lights look good. I got on FM right now.
To that blue shirt, they'll insert anything you have so you can get a great deal on great.
And switch over to AM.
The agency will also select a cleanup plan from the study's findings. Philippine National Police.
Part of the difficulty in making the comparisons from our...
I got tape playing. And I got a record spinning. And hit the road again. Everything turned out quite nice in the stereo. Thanks for watching the video.